The price of peace. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of Earth's diplomatic corps headquarters, watching shuttles dart between gleaming skyscrapers like metallic fireflies. 20 years after first contact, humanity had earned its place among the stars. Mostly, she absently rubbed the scar on her neck, a souvenir from the Proxima War, where Earth forces had proven themselves against hostile aliens. Commander Rodriguez, the Etherian delegation has arrived. Elena turned from the window, straightening her formal diplomatic uniform. The Etherians were among the most enigmatic species in known space, beings of crystalline energy who communicated through light pulses and electromagnetic fields. Their request for this meeting had been unexpected. The delegation materialized in the conference room like Aurora Borealis given form. Their leader, Ambassador Lyra, coalesced into a vaguely humanoid shape of swirling colors. "Greetings, Commander." Lyra's thoughts resonated directly in Elena's mind. "We come with an unusual request." "I'm honored to receive you, Ambassador." Elena had learned to hide her discomfort at telepathic communication. "How may Earth's diplomatic corps assist?" "We require a human to serve as our cultural attaché, specifically you." Elena blinked. "I'm flattered, but surely there are more qualified." "You misunderstand," Lyra interrupted. "We need your military background. A war is coming, Commander. One that could shatter the peace between organic and energy-based species." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. "Go on." The crystalline collective grows stronger. They view organic life as inefficient, wasteful. They'd plan to optimize organic worlds, a process that would effectively destroy all carbon-based life. Elena's hand unconsciously touched her scar again. "And you need me because humans are unique. You understand both diplomacy and warfare. You've proven you can fight superior forces and win. We need someone who can help us prevent war if possible, but prepare for it if necessary." "Why not approach Earth's government directly?" Lyra's form flickered, their equivalent of a grim smile. "Politics. Any official warning would trigger panic, possibly accelerate the collective's plans. We need someone who can work, unofficially." Elena considered the implications. What exactly would this position entail? "Officially, you'd be our cultural attaché, helping bridge understanding between organic and energy beings. Unofficially, you'd help us identify potential allies, develop defensive strategies, and search for weaknesses in the collective's plans. And if we fail, if war comes anyway, then humanity's experience fighting supposedly superior forces may be all that stands between organic life and extinction." Elena turned back to the window, watching Earth's bustling skyline. She'd fought in one interstellar war already, seen too many friends die. But if Lyra was right, the stakes were even higher now. "The position pays extremely well," Lyra added. "Though I suspect that's not your primary concern." Elena smiled. "You suspect correctly." She faced the Etherian delegation. "I have conditions. I choose my own team. I maintain contact with Earth intelligence, and I want full access to your historical and tactical databases." "Agreed." Lyra's response came instantly. "Though you should know, accepting this role will paint a target on your back. The collective has agents everywhere." "Ambassador, I've had a target on my back since Proxima. At least this time I'll be fighting to prevent a war, not just win one." Elena extended her hand, then caught herself. Aetherians couldn't shake hands. Lyra surprised her by extending a tendril of energy to touch her palm. The contact sent tingles up Elena's arm. "Welcome aboard, Commander. Shall we begin your briefing?" As Elena followed the Aetherians to a secure conference room, her mind raced with possibilities. She'd need to contact some old war buddies, call in favors. If they were going to prevent an interstellar war, they'd need all the help they could get. The next few hours were a crash course in galactic politics, collective capabilities, and the delicate balance between energy and organic species. Elena absorbed it all, already forming plans. "One last thing," Lyra said as the briefing concluded. Why did you really accept? Elena thought of Earth below, of all the worlds like it. Because if someone's threatening my home, my species, I want to be the one standing in their way. She smiled grimly. And because sometimes the best way to prevent a war is to convince your enemy you can win it. Lyra's form brightened. The collective believes organic beings are weak, inefficient. Perhaps you can help us prove them wrong. Oh, Ambassador, Elena checked her tactical tablet, already reviewing potential team members. Proving aliens wrong about humanity is something of a specialty of ours. The first pieces were in place. Now the real work would begin, building a team, gathering intelligence, and preparing for a conflict that would determine the fate of organic life itself. But first, Elena had some calls to make. After all, if you're going to save the galaxy, you'd better make sure you have the right people watching your back. Shadows of War. Elena's new office aboard the Etherian flagship, Luminous Dawn, thrummed with energy fields that made her teeth tingle. 3 weeks into her role as cultural attaché, she was still adjusting to living among beings of pure energy. The tactical displays floating before her showed concerning patterns. Crystalline collective ships massing at key strategic points. Your assessment? Lyra materialized beside her, causing Elena to suppress a startled jump. They're positioning for something big. Elena manipulated the holographic display. These formations aren't random. They're creating choke points around major organic trading routes. An economic strategy. Partly. Elena highlighted several sectors. But look here, they're particularly focused around worlds of high concentrations of rare elements. The same elements your people use for energy conversion. Lyra's form dimmed. They're equivalent of a frown. They seek to control our food supply. And our ability to fight back. Elena pulled up another display. My contacts report increased collective activity around weapons research facilities. They're developing something new. The council must be informed. A priority alert flashed across Elena's screens. She quickly decoded the encrypted message, her expression darkening. Change of plans. My team just intercepted collective communications. They're not just preparing for war, they're actively sabotaging peace efforts. Explain. Elena brought up profiles of several prominent organic and energy-based diplomats. In the past month, 3 peace advocates have suffered accidents. 2 more have suddenly reversed their positions on organic energy cooperation. My people think they've been compromised. Impossible. Our security is designed to detect physical threats. Elena stood pacing. But they're using something different. Some kind of energy matter conversion technology that can affect both organic minds and energy patterns. They're literally rewriting their opponents. Lyra's form crackled with alarm. If they have such technology, then no one is safe. Elena activated her secure communicator, which is why I had my team working on countermeasures. Dr. Santos, report. A hologram flickered to life. A brilliant Brazilian physicist Elena had recruited. Commander, we've identified the quantum signature of their conversion beam. We can detect it and theoretically, we might be able to shield against it, but we need more data, and testing will be problematic. Elena smiled grimly. Let me worry about testing. Get me a prototype. After the briefing, Lyra lingered. You realize what you're suggesting. If you're wrong about the Collector's technology, I'm not wrong, and we need proof to convince the Council. You intend to let them target you. It wasn't a question. Better me than another diplomat. At least I'll be prepared. Elena checked her weapons. Old habits died hard. Besides, sometimes the best way to expose a trap is to spring it. The Council won't approve. That's why we're not telling them. Elena's expression softened. Lyra, your people saved mine during first contact, showed us we weren't alone. Now it's our turn to return the favor. Seeds of Tomorrow. A year after the collective's surrender, the Convergence Initiative had transformed from a military installation into a beacon of hope. Elena stood before a gathered crowd of beings from across the galaxy, organic, energy, and every variation in between. "Welcome to Evolution Day," she addressed the assembly. "1 year ago, we proved that true advancement comes not from force, but from choice. Today, we celebrate those choices and look to the future." The great hall of the Convergence facility hummed with diverse energy signatures and chattered in countless languages. Where once there had been fear and division, now there was curiosity and cooperation. "The latest data is remarkable," Dr. Santos reported, joining Elena at the podium. "Over 10,000 voluntary evolutionary paths documented, each unique, each chosen. We're seeing combinations and adaptations we never imagined possible." Elena surveyed the crowd, noting how former enemies now worked side by side. Former collective members, freed from forced evolution, had become some of their most valuable researchers. Report from the exploration fleet. Lyra materialized, her energy form now seamlessly interfacing with organic technology. "We've detected signals from beyond the galactic rim. New civilizations, new potential for growth. And new challenges," Elena added, her quantum-enhanced senses detecting subtle disturbances in space-time. "The universe is larger than we imagined, and not everything out there believes in choice." A holographic display showed the latest deep space readings. Strange patterns, unlike anything they'd encountered before, suggested that the collective might not have been the only force trying to control evolution. "They're calling it the dark flow," Santos explained. "Some kind of extragalactic influence affecting quantum patterns on a massive scale. If our readings are correct, it's been subtly guiding evolution across multiple galaxies for millions of years." "Nature versus nurture on a cosmic scale," Elena mused. "The ultimate question of choice." The celebration continued around them, but Elena's mind was already racing with implications. The Convergence Initiative had protected their galaxy's right to choose its path. Would they now have to defend that right against something far older and more powerful? "You're thinking about expanding the program," Lyra observed. "We need to be ready." Elena's quantum patterns shifted with determination, not just to defend, but to understand. If something has been guiding evolution across galaxies, we need to know why. "And if they're not open to discussion?" Santos asked. "Then we show them what free choice can achieve." Elena activated the facility's long-range sensors. "Humanity reached the stars because we chose to. We survived the collective because we chose to. Whatever this dark flow is, it needs to understand. True evolution can't be controlled, it has to be chosen." New alerts caught their attention. The patterns were spreading, becoming more obvious. Whatever force lay behind them was no longer being subtle. "They know we've detected them," Lyra said. "Good." Elena smiled. "Then they know we're ready to choose our next evolution, not just as humans or as individual species, but as a galaxy that understands. The greatest power isn't in controlling change, but in choosing it." She addressed the gathered crowd again. "A year ago, we proved that evolution without choice isn't evolution at all. Now something watches from beyond our galaxy, something that thinks it knows better than we do how life should develop. They're about to learn what we learned from humanity, that the strongest growth comes from within, and the greatest power is the power to choose your own path." The assembly erupted in cheers and energy pulses of agreement. As Elena looked out at the diverse gathering, she saw not just what they had become, but what they could choose to be. The dark flow might have guided evolution for millions of years, but it had never encountered anything like this. A galaxy united not by force, but by choice. By the simple, powerful understanding that true advancement comes from within. "Ready for the next chapter?" Lyra asked. Elena's quantum patterns sparkled with anticipation. Evolution is always ready for the next chapter. That's how we grow. As the celebration continued around them, new plans were already forming. The Convergence Initiative had protected their right to choose. Now they will extend that protection beyond their galaxy, proving once again that the greatest force in the universe wasn't control, it was choice. The next evolution was beginning. And this time, the whole universe would learn what humanity had always known, that the power to choose your path was the greatest power of all. Breaking point. The emergency alarm jolted Elena awake at 300 ship time. Red warning lights pulsed through her quarters aboard the luminous dawn. Multiple collective vessels detected, the AI announced. They've breached the Orion defense line. Elena was moving before the announcement finished, tactical gear replacing sleek clothes. Her secured terminal was already displaying the situation. A dozen collective warships had somehow slipped past the combined organic energy fleet's most fortified position. Status report, she barked into her comm as she ran toward the bridge. Dr. Santos responded first. The quantum shields are holding, but they're using a new frequency. Adapting our defenses now. They shouldn't have gotten this far. Lyra's thoughts crashed into Elena's mind as she reached the bridge. Our detection grid was perfect. Perfect is what they wanted us to think. Elena studied the tactical display. This was an inside job. Someone gave them our sensor frequencies. The bridge hummed with tension as more reports flooded in. 3 organic worlds were under direct threat. The collective's new weapons were somehow disrupting both matter and energy-based defenses simultaneously. Councils demanding answers, an aide reported. They can wait. Elena highlighted a pattern in the attack formation. Look here, they're not pressing their advantage. This isn't an invasion. Lyra's form brightened with realization. A test. They're probing our defenses and collecting data on our responses. Elena opened a secure channel. All ships, hold position. Do not engage the enemy directly. Commander, Lyra warned, the Council won't approve. The Council's compromised. Elena lowered her voice. Think about it. Only someone with highest clearance could have provided those sensor frequencies. We need to find the leak. She turned to her tactical team. Deploy the quantum mines, Pattern Omega. The mines, a new defense she developed combining human ingenuity with Etherian energy tech, activated. To normal sensors, they were invisible. But Elena had learned that even energy beings cast shadows. The collective ships flew right into the trap. Quantum disruption fields bloomed across space, temporarily converting energy to matter and matter to energy. The enemy fleet's perfect formation dissolved into chaos. Now we see their true form, Elena muttered, watching the sensor data. The destruction had revealed something unexpected. The collective ships weren't pure energy constructs at all. Impossible, Lyra breathed. Those are Council designs. Not impossible. Elena pulled up personnel files. Just improbable, unless someone very high up has been playing both sides. The pieces clicked into place. The rushed defense contracts, the convenient intelligence leaks, the push for standardized energy matter conversion technology. Councillor Vex, Elena and Lyra said simultaneously. The defense contractor. Lyra's form crackled with disbelief, but he's been advocating for peace. While selling weapons to both sides, Elena sent a priority signal to her team. The collective isn't the real enemy, they're just mercenaries. Vex has been orchestrating this whole crisis to drive up defense spending and test his new weapons. The Council will never believe. They will when they see this. Elena transmitted the sensor logs showing the true nature of the collective ships. Along with financial records, my team uncovered linking Vex to weapons sales on both sides. The next few hours were chaos. Council security forces moved against Vex's facilities. The collective fleet, its true nature exposed, retreated in disarray. Elena's quantum mines had rendered their advanced cloaking technology useless. In the aftermath, Elena stood at her familiar observation window, watching repair ships tend to the damaged defense platforms. The Council has questions. Lyra materialized beside her. They always do. Elena smiled tiredly. Did they approve the Joint Defense Initiative? Unanimously. Your exposure of Vex's manipulation convinced even the skeptics that organic and energy beings need to work together. And a real collective. Signs indicate they were never more than a small separatist group. Vex manipulated intelligence to make them appear more powerful, more organized. Elena nodded. He nearly started a war to line his own pockets. Yet humanity's technology helped prevent it. Lyra's form brightened. The Council is particularly interested in your quantum minds. Such elegant use of basic principles. Sometimes the simplest solutions are best. Elena checked her tactical display. Force deployments were returning to normal. We still need to track down Vex's collaborators. Already underway, though I suspect he'll prove more dangerous in custody than he was free. Usually how it goes. Elena straightened her uniform. The Council waiting. They are, though I should warn you, they're discussing offering you a permanent position. Elena laughed. Tell them I'll consider it. After all, someone needs to keep an eye on things up here. As they headed to the council chambers, Elena reflected on how far things had come. What started as a desperate attempt to prevent war had evolved into something more, true cooperation between organic and energy beings, each bringing their own strengths to the table. Vex had tried to exploit their differences. Instead, he'd only made them stronger together. Point of no return. The interrogation room deep within the luminous dawn felt colder than usual. Counselor Vex sat across from Elena, his energy form contained within a quantum suppression field. Even imprisoned, he radiated arrogance. You understand nothing. Vex's thoughts pierced Elena's mind like shards of ice. War was inevitable. I merely accelerated the timeline. To profit from it, Elena countered, reviewing evidence on her tablet. You sold weapons to imaginary enemies, then convinced both sides they needed more defenses. I created solutions. You created problems to sell solutions. Elena leaned forward. But here's what I don't understand. Why involve the real collective at all? Why not stick to your fake threat? Vex's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Perhaps you're not as clever as they say. Warning klaxons shattered the moment. Elena's tactical display erupted with alerts, massive energy signatures appearing throughout the ship. Right on schedule, Vex said. The suppression field exploded inward as hidden energy matrices activated. Elena dove for cover as Vex's true form emerged. Not a pure energy being at all, but a hybrid of crystalline technology and dark energy. The real collective isn't some separatist group. Vex's voice resonated through the ship's hull. Their evolution itself, the next stage of existence. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut as Elena sprinted for the bridge. Her comm crackled with chaos. Similar transformations were happening across the ship. Supposedly pure energy beings revealing hybrid forms, turning on their organic colleagues. Lyra, status. Elena shouted into her comm. Static answered. Then, bridge. Compromised. They're everywhere. Elena changed course, heading for engineering instead. She needed to reach the quantum core before. A blast of hybrid energy scorched the corridor ahead. Elena rolled, returning fire with her modified quantum disruptor. The hybrid creature, formerly an Etherian engineer, shattered into base components. Dr. Santos, tell me you've got something. Working on it, the physicist's voice was strained. Their hybrid form is unstable. If we can overload the quantum core, we'll destroy the ship. And then with it. Elena reached engineering, finding Santos and his team barricaded inside. The quantum core pulsed with ominous energy as hybrids tried to breach the barriers. They're not just attacking us, Santos reported, showing sensor data. Similar transformations are happening across the fleet. It's coordinated. Vex was just the visible part, Elena realized. The Collector's been infiltrating energy-based civilizations for years, preparing for this moment. She studied the core readings. If we overload it, the quantum cascade will affect all hybrid forms within range, Santos confirmed. But we'll need someone to manually trigger it. The automated systems are compromised. Elena checked her tactical display. Most of the organic crew had already evacuated to emergency pods. The remaining energy beings were either revealed as hybrids or trapped in isolated sections. "Get to the escape pods," she ordered Santos' team. "I'll handle the core." "Commander." "That's an order, Doctor. Humanity needs to know what we're really facing." As the science team reluctantly evacuated, Elena began the core overload sequence. The hybrids, sensing her plan, intensified their assault on engineering. "You'll die too," Vex's voice echoed through the ship. "Maybe." Elena's fingers flew across the controls. "But humans have a saying, if you're going down, take the enemy with you." The barriers began to fail as the core approached critical levels. Elena sent one final transmission to the evacuation pods. "The collective isn't about superiority, it's about control. They want to force evolution their way. Don't let them. Sometimes the best path forward is the one you choose for yourself." The hybrids breached engineering just as Elena triggered the overload. The quantum core erupted, its energies cascading through the ship. Elena felt the hybrid energy trying to infect her, to force her own evolution. She resisted, focusing on her humanity, all its strengths and weaknesses, its chaos and determination. The cascade reached critical mass. The last thing Elena saw was pure quantum energy consuming everything, hybrid, organic, and energy being alike. In that moment of transformation, she understood something the collective never had. True evolution wasn't about becoming perfect, it was about becoming more yourself. The explosion lit up space like a newborn star. When it faded, the hybrid threat was gone, their forced evolution undone by the very quantum forces they tried to control. Emergency services rescued Elena's unconscious form from the wreckage, somehow still human, still herself. In the aftermath, as Elena recovered in medical, Lyra visited, one of the few genuine energy beings who'd survived uncompromised. "The Council is in chaos," Lyra reported. "Many of our leaders were hybrids. We need to rebuild." "Together," Elena finished. "Not as organic or energy beings, not as forced evolution, but as ourselves, choosing our own path forward." Lyra's form brightened. "The human way. The right way." Elena smiled. "After all, the best evolution is the kind you choose for yourself." Rising from ashes, 3 months after the quantum core incident, Elena stood before the newly reformed Galactic Council. Her dress uniform felt stiff, the commendation medals heavy on her chest. The chamber, a hybrid of organic architecture and energy matrices, represented the new cooperation between species. "The hybrid threat is contained," Elena reported, "but not eliminated. We've identified collective cells in 12 systems. Their forced evolution technology remains a concern." The council chamber hummed with worried energy. Organic and energy beings alike had been shaken by the revelation of infiltrators in their midst. "What do you propose, Commander Rodriguez?" The new council head, a merged consciousness of organic and energy beings called Unity, asked. "We adapt." Elena activated the holographic display. "Dr. Santos and his team have developed a screening process. More importantly, we've learned that choice matters. The quantum cascade didn't just destroy the hybrids, it revealed something fundamental about evolution itself." The display showed complex quantum patterns. The hybrids failed because they tried to force a specific path of evolution. But true advancement comes from diversity, from letting each species and individual choose their own way forward. She gestured to her own readings. "The cascade changed me at the quantum level, but not in the way the collective intended. Instead of becoming their version of perfect, I evolved to better integrate with both organic and energy beings while remaining fundamentally human." "You propose we use this discovery?" Unity asked. "I propose we offer it as a choice." Elena's voice carried through the chamber. "Not forced evolution, but voluntary integration. Let each being choose if and how they want to advance." The chamber erupted in discussion. Elena waited patiently as organic and energy beings debated the implications. Finally, Unity raised a hand for silence. There are risks, Unity noted. The collective could attempt to weaponize this process. They already tried. Elena smiled grimly. That's why we're proposing the Convergence Initiative. The display shifted to show a new facility, part research center, part military installation. A joint organic energy task force. We study voluntary evolution while defending against forced transformation. More importantly, we learn from each other, grow together. And you would lead this initiative. With a mixed team, yes. Elena highlighted personnel files. Dr. Santos heads research. Lyra handles energy being integration. We've even recruited former hybrids who chose to return to their original forms. They understand the enemy's psychology. Unity conferred briefly with other council members. The resources required are less than we spent fighting shadows, Elena countered. The collective's greatest weapon was fear. Fear of change, fear of difference. We beat them by choosing our own path. Now we can help others do the same. The council chambers fell silent as Unity considered. Finally, the merged consciousness spoke. Proposal accepted, with conditions. The Convergence Initiative will operate under joint council oversight. All evolution procedures must be voluntary, with multiple safeguards. Understood. Elena nodded. When do we begin? Immediately. Reports indicate increased collective activity in the Carina sector. They're adapting, evolving their strategy. Good. Elena's expression hardened. So are we. The next weeks were a blur of preparation. The convergence facility took shape in neutral space, combining the best of organic and energy technology. Elena watched from her new office as construction drones wove quantum matrices through physical structure. Having second thoughts, Lyra materialized beside her. About the mission? No. Elena touched the quantum-enhanced badge on her uniform. About what we might become. Maybe. Change is never easy. Yet humans seem to thrive on it, Lyra observed. Perhaps that's why you survived the cascade. Your species embraces evolution while remaining true to itself. We've had practice, Elena smiled. Earth's history is one long story of adaptation and choice. Sometimes the choices were wrong, but we learned, we grew. Warning signals interrupted their conversation. Long-range sensors detected a collective fleet approaching the Carina sector. They're testing us, Lyra noted. Let them. Elena activated the facility's quantum defenses. This time we're ready. This time we fight for the right to choose our own evolution. As alerts sounded and personnel rushed to stations, Elena felt strangely calm. The collective thought they could force the galaxy to evolve according to their plan. They never understood that true evolution, true growth, came from within. Humanity had learned that lesson long ago. Now they would teach it to the stars. Legacy of choice. The Carina sector blazed with quantum fire as the collective fleet engaged the Convergence Initiative's defenses. Elena watched from the command center as organic and energy forces moved in perfect synchronization, the result of months of joint training and voluntary evolution. Multiple hybrid signatures detected, Dr. Santos reported. They've improved their transformation technology. But they still don't understand, Elena replied, activating her own quantum enhancements. The changes the cascade had made to her physiology now served as a bridge between organic and energy tactics. Formation Delta. Let's show them how real evolution works. The combined fleet executed a complex maneuver that would have been impossible months ago. Organic ships channeled energy-being power, while energy matrices reinforced physical shields. They weren't just cooperating, they were evolving together, each in their own way. Collective flagship launching forced evolution beam, Lyra warned. As expected, Elena smiled. Initiate Operation Chrysalis. The trap was sprung. As the collective's beam struck their lines, the defending forces didn't resist. They changed. But not in the way the enemy intended. Each being, organic and energy alike, transformed according to their own choice, their own path. The result was chaos for the collective's carefully calculated attack. Their weapons expected specific evolutionary patterns. Instead, they faced thousands of unique adaptations. Their formations are breaking, Santos reported with satisfaction. They can't predict our responses because every evolution is individual. Elena opened a channel to the collective flagship. You still don't understand. Evolution isn't about becoming what someone else thinks is perfect. It's about becoming more truly yourself. The enemy commander's response crackled with rage. Perfection requires uniformity. The galaxy must evolve as one. No, Elena's voice was firm. The galaxy must evolve as itself. Every species, every being, choosing their own path. That's true perfection. She triggered the final phase of Operation Chrysalis. The quantum matrices surrounding the battlefield activated, creating a cascade similar to the one that had changed her months ago. But this time it was controlled, offering choice rather than forcing change. The effect on the collective fleet was devastating. Their hybrid forms, built on forced evolution, began to break down. But unlike before, they weren't destroyed, they were freed. Offering emergency quantum stabilization to all ships, Santos announced. They can choose to return to their original forms or maintain hybrid status under their own control. The battlefield fell silent as thousands of beings faced the choice the collective had denied them. Elena watched as, one by one, ships began signaling surrender. Hours later, in the aftermath, Elena stood in the Convergence Facility's observation dome. The quantum changes in her body sparkled faintly, a reminder of how far they'd come. The Council reports similar surrenders across 12 sectors. Lyra materialized beside her. The collective's forced evolution program is collapsing. Given the choice, most beings prefer to evolve naturally. Or not at all, Elena added. That's the point. It has to be their choice. And what of you, Commander? Lyra's form shifted curiously. Your own evolution continues. You're neither purely human nor hybrid now. Elena touched the quantum patterns visible beneath her skin. I'm exactly where I choose to be, human, but adapted, changed, but still myself, just like Earth changed when we reached the stars, but remained our home. The Council is proposing to expand the Convergence Initiative, Lyra noted, not just as a defense force, but as a center for voluntary advancement, a place where organic and energy beings can explore evolution together. With safeguards, Elena insisted, and always with choice. Of course, Lyra's form brightened. It seems humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't technology or warfare, but something simpler, the understanding that true growth comes from within. Elena watched as ships of all types moved through space, organic, energy, and everything in between, each following their own path, yet working together. The collective thought's strength came from forcing everyone to be the same, she mused. They never understood that real strength comes from being different together. A signal chimed, more beings requesting access to the Convergence program, more choices to be made, more paths to be explored. Ready for what comes next? Lyra asked. Elena smiled, her quantum patterns shifting with anticipation. Evolution is always ready for what comes next. That's the point. As she moved to welcome the new arrivals, Elena reflected on how far they'd all come. The galaxy was changing, growing, evolving, not according to any single plan, but through millions of individual choices. And that, she knew, was exactly as it should be, seeds of tomorrow. A year after the collective's surrender, the Convergence Initiative had transformed from a military installation into a beacon of hope. Elena stood before a gathered crowd of beings from across the galaxy, organic, energy, and every variation in between. Welcome to Evolution Day, she addressed the assembly. 1 year ago, we proved that true advancement comes not from force, but from choice. Today, we celebrate those choices and look to the future. The great hall of the Convergence facility hummed with diverse energy signatures and chattered in countless languages. Where once there had been fear and division, now there was curiosity and cooperation. The latest data is remarkable, Dr. Santos reported, joining Elena at the podium. Over 10,000 voluntary evolutionary paths documented, each unique, each chosen. We're seeing combinations and adaptations we never imagined possible. Elena surveyed the crowd, noting how former enemies now worked side by side. Former collective members, freed from forced evolution, had become some of their most valuable researchers. Report from the exploration fleet, Lyra materialized, her energy form now seamlessly interfacing with organic technology. We've detected signals from beyond the galactic rim. New civilizations, new potential for growth. And new challenges, Elena added, her quantum-enhanced senses detecting subtle disturbances in space-time. The universe is larger than we imagined, and not everything out there believes in choice. A holographic display showed the latest deep space readings. Strange patterns, unlike anything they'd encountered before, suggested that the collective might not have been the only force trying to control evolution. They're calling it the dark flow, Santos explained. Some kind of extragalactic influence affecting quantum patterns on a massive scale. If our readings are correct, it's been subtly guiding evolution across multiple galaxies for millions of years. Nature versus nurture on a cosmic scale, Elena mused. The ultimate question of choice. The celebration continued around them, but Elena's mind was already racing with implications. The Convergence Initiative had protected their galaxy's right to choose its path. Would they now have to defend that right against something far older and more powerful? You're thinking about expanding the program, Lyra observed. We need to be ready. Elena's quantum patterns shifted with determination, not just to defend, but to understand. If something has been guiding evolution across galaxies, we need to know why. And if they're not open to discussion, Santos asked. Then we show them what free choice can achieve. Elena activated the facility's long-range sensors. Humanity reached the stars because we chose to. We survived the collective because we chose to. Whatever this dark flow is, it needs to understand. True evolution can't be controlled, it has to be chosen. New alerts caught their attention. The patterns were spreading, becoming more obvious. Whatever force lay behind them was no longer being subtle. They know we've detected them, Lyra said. Good. Elena smiled. Then they know we're ready to choose our next evolution. Not just as humans, or as individual species, but as a galaxy that understands. The greatest power isn't in controlling change, but in choosing it. She addressed the gathered crowd again. A year ago, we proved that evolution without choice isn't evolution at all. Now something watches from beyond our galaxy, something that thinks it knows better than we do how life should develop. They're about to learn what we learned from humanity, but the strongest growth comes from within, and the greatest power is the power to choose your own path. The assembly erupted in cheers and energy pulses of agreement. As Elena looked out at the diverse gathering, she saw not just what they had become, but what they could choose to be. The dark flow might have guided evolution for millions of years, but it had never encountered anything like this. A galaxy united not by force, but by choice. By the simple, powerful understanding that true advancement comes from within. Ready for the next chapter? Lyra asked. Elena's quantum patterns sparkled with anticipation. Evolution is always ready for the next chapter. That's how we grow. As the celebration continued around them, new plans were already forming. The Convergence Initiative had protected their right to choose. Now they will extend that protection beyond their galaxy, proving once again that the greatest force in the universe wasn't control, it was choice. The next evolution was beginning. And this time, the whole universe would learn what humanity had always known, that the power to choose your path was the greatest power of all.